Hello and welcome to another Tale from the Tanks. Today I want to share with you my experience with the Fluval U3 internal filter. I've had this filter for a few years and used it in a number of settings. So I'll show you how it works and its features and talk about my experience with this device. So enjoy. Let's dive in. So I bought this filter a few years ago to replace an overhead sump in one of my filters, which was pretty useless, came built in for that tank and didn't do the job. So I needed a different solution. This seemed to be the right size. It can serve up to 150 liters. It says on the box. I come back to that claim a little bit later. So let's look what this consists of. That's the filter compartment itself. It has this very clever outlet arrangement there where you can have three different settings. You either have a spray bar or you have outlets at the top or at the bottom, and they can be regulated in terms of how strong they are as well. Very flexible, very good feature, generally speaking, from this tank, and I will demonstrate that a little bit later. It has this bracket where you mount it to the side of the tank. The orientation of the filter can be horizontal or vertical, and it leans back and clips in and off this bracket. So this bracket is always in the tank, and you just take the filter piece out for maintenance. I have this spray bar. I don't think it came with the filter. It just happens to be something I had lying around. And I used it with this filter because I like to mount the filter itself vertical and have my spray bar horizontal. But what it does come with the filter is these two little tips for the outlets, which help you direct the flow of the outlet. Did I mention those suction cups are really strong? There you go. So you can regulate the direction of the flow with these outlets. Why is there two? Well, the second one has a special feature in that it has this Venturi arrangement by which you can inject bubbles. So if you want or need bubbles, you attach this blue top piece. I have an extra little piece of hose attached to that, why I come back to later. And you can adjust the amount of bubbles you inject into that outlet as well. Quite neat for people who need that kind of stuff. And this filter is a cartridge-based system, so you can buy different inserts. What you see here is the carbon filter insert, and you also get the sponges, and you can have these two in one of the cartridges. As with cartridge-based systems, it's always a bit pricey to replace those, but I find they last a very long time in any case. Most of them anyway, the sponges for sure. The active carbon does exhaust after a while. So does the clearing cartridge, which I'll show you later. But overall, this, you can see, it's one that I used quite a bit in the past. This is one of the special inserts that have some special clarifying agent in them. I'll show you a new one in a moment. It promises clear water and reduces algae and toxins. Doesn't do the trick, I guess. There you can see it in its new state. It has this funny stuff in them. It's called Polymax, and these last maybe 3 months or something like that. And then you have to buy new ones if you fancy that. This one I have used here, you can see it's quite worn. I keep using that simply as a finer filter mesh. Quite a good arrangement. The plastics are of a really good quality. They don't normally break, I said, promptly broke the latch on that one as I was doing that video. Still working, but it's a bit loose now. I have a little bag with Purigen in there. Fluval themselves sell you these clean and clear little sachets, which you can place into those cartridges. Two of those sachets fit into each of those cartridges, and there's still more space for ceramic filter material in there as well. These are the two spots, and then the ceramic filter material would go there, or you just put other filter material as you fancy in there. So even though it's a cartridge system, it's very flexible in how and what you use for filtering. So I just, for demonstration purposes, use some ceramic material that I had spare. This is not the original Fluval stuff, just something I had lying around for the purposes of this video. So to prepare the filter, you basically just put your cartridges into the filter compartment. They only fit one way. And as to demonstrate, there you go, you turn it around. And then you're ready to mount all this in your tank. This series of filters comes in different sizes. This is the U3, as I said. They say on the box for up to 150 liters. My experience was that this is a bit optimistic. I used it on a 90-liter tank and it was struggling to keep everything clear. I have a little video later on where you can see it in action. I wouldn't put that into anything more than, say, a 100-liter tank, sorry, an 80-liter tank or something like that, which still requires very frequent cleaning, then at least weekly. Here I demonstrated in what is I think it's a 45-liter tank or thereabouts. So I now attached this back bracket. I tried to get some of the air out of the filter so it runs quietly. I had an issue with it running quietly in the beginning, but worked it out eventually, and that doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. What is an ongoing issue is the way the filter actually latches onto that bracket. As you can see, I have to fiddle around quite a bit to make it comply. Works perfectly well when it's out of the water, but hey, that's not where you want it to operate, right? And so there seem to be tolerances in this mechanism which are a little bit generous, and it takes a bit of fiddling to get it to sit properly. Quite annoying, that particular bit. And as I switch it on, you can see a bit of air still being expelled from the filter, and quite a strong pump. Luckily you can dial it down a bit. So currently I'm pushing water out at the bottom, and then I turn this around a bit and it actually starts to engage the spray bar. Those middle hole bits there you can just see move, and then you take it a bit further and you come to the top outlet again. Very flexible, very good feature. Having said that, normally what you would do is set it once and forget it, but you can use it in different tanks, and I've been using it in different tanks over the years and set it the way I preferred it in the relevant tank. So quite versatile that way. So this is the picture with the Venturi air injection there, and you can adjust the amount of air it pulls in. I put this little hose on it, and this works better in particular if you want to have the filter completely submerged, because I found if we leave it in the position that it is now, it was a moment ago, it actually pulls air into the filter compartment, makes the filter noisy. So I like to have the filter fully submerged, and then you need this little extra hose for the Venturi thing to stick out and suck in the air, and that works quite nicely. Yeah, just that the flow downwards a bit, whichever way you prefer. For the fans of bubbles. What I usually do is, I mentioned I have this spray bar which does not come with that particular filter from memory, but I had it lying around. It happens to fit perfectly. It seems to be a common diameter outlet. And I installed that, and that works really, really well with this particular filter as well. So you can always arrange something like that. And that's how I normally operate it. Particularly in smaller tanks, as I said, the pump is quite strong. If you want to have the right compromise between the filter performing properly and the fish not get thrown around by too strong a current, then the spray bar is always a good thing to use. It comes with a manual, as you can see me studying there in the background, in the reflection. I just checked whether the spray bar was actually part of the bits that come with it, but it wasn't. And this is a video I had earlier from when it was installed in a tank. You can see it's okay, but it doesn't quite get on top of all the floating stuff around. So in conclusion, it is quite a good filter. The cartridge system gives you lots of options. It has various outlet options, so it's quite flexible from that perspective. The quality of materials is generally quite good, and as I said, I have it for a few years, never trouble with any of the parts or the pump for that matter. I clean the pump regularly as well. Didn't show that, but it's that blue bit at the bottom which you can actually take out to get to. As far as disadvantage is concerned, the mounting is really a bit awkward. There should be a better way of that. The filter volume is small for the proposed tank volume. I wouldn't use it for a tank of anything bigger than 80 liters, as I said. And because it's a cartridge system, that can get quite expensive. So if you found that video of any use, please like and subscribe. And I will be back with more tales from the tank very soon. Talk then. Bye.